bad debate, because I've got 3 stories for you. And just like my story about the song I lost my virginity to, I can top anyone in the room. I'll sing a few bars of the song. I can still feel her beard, ladies and gentlemen. The 3 worst debates I have ever been involved in. Starting at number 3, Oxford in 2001. I'm a poor English aristocrat who was forced to first prop banning fox hunting, destroying my own culture. As James Stray would say, why? We stand up and we say, no, fox hunting, rather bad, chap. We don't like foxes and redcoats, terrible. Are from somewhere in Eastern Europe, somewhere slightly nebulous. They stand up and they tell us, you said to us in England your problem is with foxes. This is not true. In England your problem is with bears. That bears are coming to English playgrounds and eating English children. This is a real problem. And farmer starts shouting at him in a language that I can only assume was banned by Stalin. The guy on the board responds in the same language, or what I assume was the same language. Then there's a fist fight. The judge calls point of order, gives us the first, then the fourth, and has second and third decide with a coin toss. That was quite a bad debate, you're thinking. The second worst debate I've ever seen. I was judging the bin room at the Oxford IB. Now, I'm really good at judging bin rooms. Kieran Lawler will tell you about the time at Dublin World that I got binned to the ultimate bin of Dublin World. Because I drank so much my eyes bled, and in the morning, when he ran the tab, I vomited all over his best clothes. I'm really good at getting binned. Basically, I was in the ultimate bin of Oxford, and the really scary thing about this, ladies and gentlemen, was that this was not so much an ESL room as an basically, thinking was a foreign language. So basically, the motion is, this house would allow the legitimate harassment of political figures. Now, I'm sure in the top rooms that may have produced good debates. But the debate I saw, ladies and gentlemen, had a very American team in first prop. And there was a kind of American team that had seen Yale A and assumed that the way you win debates was to talk at 1,000 miles an hour and add words like crystallize, debaterize, and stylorama to everything. We bring before you today an incredibly radical proposal to allow for legitimate harassment of political figures. We would allow people to write letters to their congressmen. As a judge, I looked around for some way to kill myself. First off are from somewhere in Holland. They stand up and say, in Holland, we have this right. And it has led to many political assassinations. And at this point, as a judge, 2 of my wing judges have managed to commit a murder-suicide pact. Okay, then, second prop stand up, and they say, Mr. Speaker, their American citizen, we realize the first proposition has gone too far in this radical we would introduce a screening mechanism. That is to say, we would have a national register of both freaks and crazies who would not be allowed to write to their congressman. An individual to read every letter before it gets to the congressman to make sure they don't say anything to hurt their feelings. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to point out to them this already exists. They're called secretaries. Second off, stand up and go, what are we doing here? Bloody chap who's the CA at this competition, whose name I've forgotten. Bugger. That would have been a good joke. Anyway, the worst debate I've ever seen, though. The worst debate. Stars of whom are right there. So this is a true story, ladies and gentlemen. I walk into the intelligent design round of Dublin World. Unlikely to be a good debate because I've been sick all over Kieran Lawler. That doesn't make you a popular person. For those of you who are thinking about vomiting on people from Assumption University next year. First prop. The motion is this house believes that intelligent design should not be taught in high schools. First prop. Poor individuals have got hold of their electronic translation device. They typed in intelligent design, and through some kind of bizarre malfunction in Google, it has told them that intelligent design means the creation of self-aware robots. Cogent arguments about how, for example, it's very dangerous for high school children to create intelligent robots because they're unlikely to understand that these robots might betray them and go My winter, Captain Galanti from Colgate University, has already started laughing. However, I, and a lovely judge from the University of Queensland, maintain our solid judging poker faces. First off are from the University of Bremen, and they stand up and they go, this is not about the robots, this is about this crazy American concept that God created the world. Quite sensibly redefine. Okay, so now you have two debates on the table. Second prop stand up, and this American team, God love them. First speaker stands up and says, Mr. Speaker, there are two debates on the table. One is legitimate and the other one is the bogus work of madness. The legitimate debate on the table is the one about robots. I laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed, which is probably quite bad and probably ensures that I ended up being even further big. Then, ladies and gentlemen, a lovely team from Canada stood up. We're going to win this room and escape from swimming around in the juice at the bottom of the bin. So, ladies and gentlemen, for our final send-off, we're going to have a round of applause for the two girls who were veterans.